So far, we have discussed play, how it fosters growth in many crucial skill areas, and the different developmental stages of play. We've also looked at how adults can encourage healthy playtime in children. Now, let's talk about the different types of play as well as some specific ways you may be able to utilize them in your classrooms, keeping in mind, of course, that we really can't lead the play for it to truly be effective. Active or physical play involves movement and physical activity. As mentioned earlier, active play really helps children develop gross motor skills. It also promotes healthy body development as well as coordination. Plus, active play is the perfect way to tire out wiggly, giggly youngsters. Some examples of active play are dancing, riding bikes, swinging on a swing, and playing soccer. One of the most effective ways to encourage active play without leading it is to put the children in an active play environment. Playgrounds are the perfect example of this type of location. When you take your class to a place filled with slides and swings, the children probably won't be able to resist them. But what can we do when we can't take the children out to the playground? Some of us are lucky enough to work in facilities that have indoor gymnasium type locations. These work magnificently in bad weather, but what about those of us who don't have access to such a wonderful luxury? What can we do to promote active play when we don't have access to a designated location filled with equipment that encourages physical activity? One child care professional uses this method. She teaches the children dances and other physical activities during circle time, and then when playtime arrives, she plays the music that corresponds to these dances and lets the children do what they desire. Sometimes they dance along as they have been instructed in circle time, and sometimes they make up their own moves. Either way, they are engaging in physical play. Another type of play is creative play. It involves the types of things suggested by the name, creative activities. Creative play sparks the child's imagination, self-expression, artistic voice, and self-confidence. In addition, this type of play can help develop a child's fine motor skills. Encouraging creative play among children involves providing the right materials. In this case, crayons, construction paper, blocks, markers, glue, stamps, musical instruments, Play-Doh, and so on would be appropriate. Basically, you are looking for anything that can be used to make or build stuff. One note, the children shouldn't use art items like glue or scissors unattended. If you are playing with the children, then let the children include them in their free play. If you are not, however, remove them from the play area. Unfortunately, most of the things students create will use up supplies. Things like drawings or paintings use up paper, crayons, paint, and so on. Some of these things are permanent. They can be hung on mom's fridge or stored in a box, and some of them are ephemeral, like sidewalk chalk art. It will wash away in the next rain shower. Not all creative things use up materials, however. Music is a creative art, and playing instruments does not exhaust any supplies, so childcare facilities do not incur any additional expenses. Dramatic play, another type of play, involves pretend and make-believe. Children love to role play, to act out the things they observe in the world around them. Going to work or washing the dishes may seem boring and commonplace to us, but these activities are new and exciting to youngsters. Through dramatic play, children also discover the world of imagination and dreams. In this type of dramatic play, anything is possible. They can go anywhere and create anything their imaginations can imagine. As with the previous two types of play, one of the best ways to encourage dramatic play is to provide them with the tools to do it. Build a collection of props and costumes that children can utilize during playtime. Make sure you include fantasy items, such as pirate hats and fairy wings, and keep a supply of everyday items as well. Things like spoons, plates, brooms, briefcases, and the like. Another way to encourage dramatic play is to fill their lives with interesting, imaginative stories. When reading a book, hold their interest with an exciting vocal intonation and build the suspense wherever it's appropriate. Children then will often act out these tales or ideas during playtime. Manipulative play focuses on children's eye-hand coordination, small motor skills, and visual recognition. Developing these skills is vital, for they are essential for success in reading and writing. Manipulative play also helps children learn to identify relationships between objects, a crucial skill for understanding math and science. Some examples of manipulative play are coloring in the lines, using basic tools, putting together puzzles, and constructing things with items such as Legos and building blocks. In order to encourage manipulative play, start by first having the materials available for your children to use. Then establish an area where coloring, puzzles, building, etc. can be accomplished, and finally, show the children, via your daily lessons, how to use these materials. Most children love to learn new things, and once you've established the basics, they can start manipulating the materials on their own. Quiet play, Another type of play just may be a childcare professional's best friend by providing a moment of silence in an otherwise chatter-filled day. Quiet play consists of activities that keep children's mouths closed but their minds open. However, this form of play isn't around just to keep kids quiet. It's actually very important to their development because it allows children to practice thinking and reasoning through problems on their own. Reading books, looking at pictures, making a necklace, and doing puzzles are all forms of quiet play. Notice that puzzles fall into two types of play, quiet play and manipulative play. This is true of many activities. Learning is seldom compartmentalized into neat little categories. Successful learning tends to blur the lines between subjects or types because they help students develop a broad range of skills in combination. Just as with all other types of play, supplying the children with the needed materials and instructing children on how to use those materials are important steps to encouraging quiet play. Additionally, it helps to institute a quiet time, a time during the day when you expect the children to play on their own. It also helps if you can establish stations or different locations in which the children will play. That way, you can control the children's proximity to one another without actually directing the play. Our last type of play is not just a type of play. It is also a stage of play, so we've already introduced the topic. That form of play is competitive play. As we mentioned earlier, in competitive play, children compete with one another both physically and mentally. Most children are not developmentally ready for healthy and successful competitive play until around age 5, when they have become proficient with language and can truly understand complex rules. As we mentioned earlier, competitive play teaches children about taking turns, fosters a positive self-esteem, and develops strategy awareness. An example of a mental competitive play would be a board game like checkers. Kickball, foot races, and basketball would all be examples of physical competitive play. As you can see, play is not merely a source of recreation nor a waste of time. It is also an important educational experience for children of all ages. They grow, develop, and learn both social and emotional skills when you give them the opportunity to express themselves freely on the playground, in the classroom, or anywhere else. The trick is to allow them to be in charge while still making sure their environment is safe and conducive to imaginative and engaging play.